Welcome back. Well, the Fort St. John Huskies were back on the ice this morning at the Alberta Junior B Provincial Championships. The Huskies splitting the first two games of the tournament, so a win would go a long way towards making the gold medal game on Sunday. Fort St. John getting out to a 2-0 lead, but the Wainwright Bisons answering with 3 straight goals, and the Bisons would hang on, taking this one 3-2. The Huskies' record falls to 1 win and 2 losses for the tournament. Fort St. John takes on Sherwood Park tomorrow in their final round-robin game. Puck drop is at 5 p.m. Canada's men's soccer team has scored their highest ever spot in the latest FIFA World Rankings.
What a strike from Jonathan David to give Canada the lead!
Canada has climbed to number 30 in the world. The move up the rankings comes after last month's win over the United States, which claimed third place at the CONCACAF Nations League. The team is building momentum while we're just over a year away from co-hosting the 2026 World Cup. Well, finally tonight, they met in high school, but Cupid's arrow didn't hit until years later. Unfortunately, the timing lined up with a naval deployment, but as Adam explains in tonight's Sawaski sign-off, that set the stage for a surprise of a lifetime.
This is the story of how a ship departed with something meaningful on board, but arrived months later with that item unexpectedly on shore. A story that begins, Shaylin Ross says, after meeting Scott Colson in high school.
I asked if he wanted to go with me to prom, and he said no. I know. It felt like rejection. It stung, and I have not let him forget it ever since.
Shaylin's joking. Everything was fine. They were just friends. It wasn't until years later that they unexpectedly reconnected and became best friends.
And we would just stay up all night talking, like endlessly, and laughing and giggling.
And so every day was just such a good day.
You could just be vulnerable right off the bat.
Better and better every day.
Every day for more than a year, until that one day.
And I remember looking at him and it just like hitting me in the gut, like, oh my God, I love this man.
So they embarked on a romantic relationship until Scott, who serves in the Navy, was deployed on a mission to the other side of the Pacific for 6 months.
Leaving for any amount of time is no fun, especially when you're in love.
So, before they said goodbye, Scott started making a secret plan, which included asking her parents' permission, buying a ring he kept safe in this locker on the ship, and flying Shaylin to Japan for his Christmas break, where he arranged a surprise proposal.
The full body electric jolt that I got, seeing him down on one knee, indescribable.
I had this whole thing planned out that I was going to say. Everything was lost when I went down on my knee, and I just said, "Will you marry me?"
Yes, 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 a million times yes.
Which was followed days later by a billion goodbyes when she had to return to Canada and he had to continue his mission for another 3 months.
It was a tough goodbye, for sure, her leaving.
But that only made him arriving back after half a year more wonderful.
Finally hold my fiance. It felt just incredible.
And that's how a ship that departed with something special on board arrived home with it being worn by someone special on shore. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
All right, what a great way to wrap up the week. That's our newscast for tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday at 6. Good night.